Welcome to this explainer on the high stakes of small choices. So, picture this. You're standing right in the middle of a grocery aisle, and you're feeling entirely, overwhelmingly stuck. The fluorescent lights are just buzzing overhead, carts are rolling by, and you are literally frozen in your tracks.
You're staring at two boxes of pasta, and honestly, they look almost completely identical. But for some inexplicable reason, you feel this sudden, visceral panic, just a heavy weight pressing right down on your chest. It feels like if you picked the wrong box of penny, your entire day, or maybe even your whole week, is just going to fall apart. We're talking one impending breakdown over dinner.
So, why does this feel like life or death? Look, if you have ever felt like you might actually burst into tears from the sheer pressure of a totally minor choice like this, I need to tell you something right now. You are not weak, and you are definitely not overreacting. Your experience is completely valid. But it does raise a huge question. Why exactly does your brain treat this tiny, absolutely insignificant choice as a massive life or death threat?
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. The supersensor brain.
It turns out there is a specific group of people who are fundamentally wired to process the world differently. We call them supersensors. A supersensor is basically an individual whose brain naturally takes in significantly more data from their environment and, crucially, from their own internal thoughts. You aren't just seeing the pasta on the shelf. Your brain is literally sweeping up every single data point in that entire aisle. Let's compare the two, right? A regular shopper walks down the aisle, spots a yellow box, grabs it, and goes. Boom. Done. But the supersensor, you're doing a full-blown forensic analysis. You are simultaneously analyzing the nutritional value, the exact texture of those bronze die extruded noodles, how it might pair with the specific acidity of the sauce sitting in your pantry, and the environmental impact of the little plastic window on the packaging. It's a hilarious but totally exhausting cascade of calculations over a simple Tuesday night dinner.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that this isn't a flaw in your character. What you're experiencing is actually a documented, really fascinating psychological trait called depth of processing. When you have this trait, your brain doesn't just make a choice. No, it runs a high-stakes, multi-dimensional simulation of every single possible outcome related to that choice before it even thinks about letting you move forward.
And this specific trait is actually mapped out by scientists using something called the D.O.E.S model. It's an acronym that stands for depth of processing, overstimulation, emotional reactivity, and sensing the subtle. This scientific framework explains exactly why certain people process information so much more deeply than others. And honestly, when your system is designed to take in this much extra data, from the store's lighting all the way to a box's carbon footprint, your brain is inevitably going to hit a wall.
Which brings us to Section 2, Systemic Overload Explained.
And this brilliantly illustrates the problem. It's like trying to run a high-end video game on a computer that's already rendering a 3D movie in the background. Your brain's internal fans just start spinning completely out of control, it gets entirely overheated, and eventually, the whole system just freezes up. This massive processing traffic jam actually has a name. It's called systemic overload because you are constantly doing massive data processing on absolutely everything around you. Your system simply hits its limit way faster than someone else's. And when that overload happens, your brain's threat detection system completely malfunctions. It sounds a loud, blaring life or death alarm over incredibly minor choices.
But here is the good news. Section 3, Taking Back Control.
So, the crucial point is, you don't have to stay stuck freezing in the grocery aisle forever. You just need a tool to intercept the panic, and that tool is called the pause protocol. It's simple. Step 1, hit the pause button. Step 2, use a pre-written script. And Step 3, check your internal capacity. It's a highly practical way to just buy yourself some time before committing to anything, whether that's a lunch invite from a coworker or, choosing that pasta brand. Let's move to and see how this builds into real-world application. Having example pause protocol scripts ready to go in your back pocket is incredibly effective. You can simply say out loud, "I need a moment to think about this," or "Let me check my schedule and get back to you." That tiny pause provides a small, necessary beat of time. And believe it or not, that is all it takes to replace the panic with logic. Because ultimately, the whole goal here is to work with your brain, not against it. Being a supersensor isn't some disease to be cured, and it's definitely not about trying to change the fundamental core of who you are. It is simply about understanding your own mental hardware so you can navigate the world more efficiently. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one direct question. What is one small decision that always feels completely huge to you? Seriously, think about it. Identifying your own specific triggers is the absolute first step to taking back control. Thanks for hanging out with us, and stay curious.